to the show with your friend and mine. So tell me, Dr. Squee, who's it gonna be this time? We like to hear you talk, and we love to hear you listen. And if you are not subscribed, you won't know what you're missing. So welcome to the Dr. Squee Show. Welcome to the Dr. Squee Show. Welcome to the Dr. Squee Show. Headphones up. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Dr. Squee Show. I'm Dr. Squee and this here is my show, which is already going better than the last one. We were due to be giving an interview at 5 o'clock today with Echo Anderson. We're not sure quite what happened to Echo. She didn't turn up. There was a slight internet issue on my end anyway, so that was kind of fortuitous as it turns out, but we seem to be online now. We definitely have a guest, so all is right in the world of Dr. Squee. And let me introduce this guest. She is coming on to talk about her new album as part of Death Ingloria. It's the second album and it's called, if I can get up the thing, Death Ingloria II, Death by Admin. We're very excited to talk all about it. Please welcome back to the Dr. Squee Show, Galina Rin. How are you doing, Galina?
I am grand. Thank you for having me back. It seems like a long time since I was on your show before. It was a whole space station away, I think. Yeah.
The first thing I thought was just like, oh yeah, I haven't spoken to her since COVID hit and everything. Then I was like, no, that was during COVID, and that was a year and a half ago.
Well, yeah. We don't know each other.
I was thinking at the time it would just be a passing thing.
Yeah, we don't know each other outside of real life. In real life yet, do we? We haven't met outside of COVID live streaming.
Yeah. Our friendship thus far has only existed online.
Yeah, I don't get much. I don't hang out with many humans anyway. So you're probably as close to me as anybody else is in normal running. So it's that's it.
There you go. Well, the first thing which I noted was we keep both excellent company. So between Level Up, Leroy, Sci-Fi Weekender, all those fine people.
Yeah, it's true. Matt is a legend. Matt from Sci-Fi Weekender is an absolute legend. I don't think that guy sleeps. Like he mustn't sleep. Like.
I don't think any of the crew behind the Sci-Fi Weekender sleep. And at the moment, they're not sleep, trying to keep an event going, which keeps them getting postponed. So they're not getting any sleep doing something which they can't make happen. So I really feel for them at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh. But there you go. There you go.
How have you been coping with the plague times?
Plague times have been, I'm just one of those guys that it has been quite good for. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry. But it's been really good for me because I don't like people very much and don't like going out. So I've got to sit at home on my butt and retrain myself into a new job. And it's great, quite frankly. I have a lot of good fun. It's a nice excuse not to have to go out at all. I mean, I just emigrate to the country and never be seen again, I think, is apart from when my music comes out. So I think that's it, right?
So with the first album, did you kind of like hunker down for a while and do it, or was that kind of happening all alongside life? And was this kind of experience of making this album during the current situation different because of it?
The first album, I was working as a civil servant when I did it, so I guess the life was still going on, obviously. And then this one, I don't think there's been much difference because I used to work in live events, and then I retrained into live streaming production and other such stuff. So I haven't stopped working. It's just been like a constant. I've actually been a bit busier during this whole lockdown thing because of live streaming. So it's just gone on. But I think like we put the album back a year essentially. Just because it was supposed to be out, and then I just didn't want to do it, or didn't want to get it finished during the lockdown. So I didn't want it to, at this second album, I didn't want it to go on until next year because I want to move on, basically. So the album's coming out. To me, it feels like this album has been out for a year already. It's been finished for a while, and now we're just, getting the live show sorted out. Because we've got a band now. Oh, a band.
Ooh, yeah. I did notice when I was looking through the info for the new album, like all the new names and stuff. Like, tell us a bit about working with the band.
Yeah, so we had our first gig together not last weekend, the weekend before, up at the Anime and Gaming, Liverpool Anime and Gaming Con.
Yep.
So that was our first gig, and it was amazing, and it was so much fun. It was my first show with other musicians because I've been a solo for such a long time. Um, I don't think I've played with actual band members on stage for years and years. I can't remember when I did it last, but it was really good. It was just so much fun. And playing cons is obviously our favorite place to play because the audience they are the most receptive audience. You know, it's hard to get like, gig guys and girls. When I say guys, I mean both genders or all genders, whatever. I don't want to get into it, but all things is just guys, right? Um, and when you go and play a show, sometimes the other bands that you have to kind of fight over their audience, and get them on board. And like we're really a watcher. People don't dance to us the first time anyway because we've got the animations that are going on, and now that we've got band members, there's a lot of stuff that people can watch, more stuff that people can watch. So having a sit down audience who's just paying attention in silence is actually quite nice. Not having to worry about people on their phones or people having a chat or, not interested in what you're doing. So the cons are really nice for that. They're really nice. You go to cons. I don't need to tell you how great cons are. All of your audience go to cons. So
I was just going to say, like, especially at the moment, because a con audience, already great, already up for a good time, already kind of like really invested in the kind of grandeur of your kind of performance. But then you've got a con audience who hasn't been able to go to a con for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So they must totally be in the zone. And that's the other thing, like your stage presence is so large, your kind of whole look that you've cultivated and curated over the years. Are the rest of the band kind of going in with that, or are they doing their own thing? How does that kind of work?
So I mean, I dress them so they match my aesthetic. And I've just managed to get some really, really nice kimono jackets for everyone for our album launch, which is on this Friday. Our album launch show is this Friday. And yeah, I mean, it's just weird the way it's worked out because I have glass-looking mic stands, see-through mic stands, right? I have those, right? That's what I made. I made them. And that's what I've been touring with. And then my drummer, Luke, he bought a Perspex kit just because he's always wanted one. So we've got a see-through drum kit, we've got see-through mic stands. It's like the world has brought it together aesthetically. And everyone wears black and wears Converse. So, it's not that hard to sell, to be honest.
I mean, in a completely positive way. I love the fact that, like, last time we spoke, I remember you saying you particularly enjoyed working with your AI because it meant you didn't have to deal with humans.
Yeah.
You already kind of laid down your stall that you don't like people that, like, you don't like working with people that much necessarily because you've got your own vision and stuff. So I know this band has to be special that you seem so positive about them.
Well, I think it's not, what do you call it? It's not a democracy. It's a benign dictatorship. And that's the way it is. And the guys are very accommodating to my craziness, I suppose. But they're also, one of the guys is Imran from the band Press X. So he's already a Comic-Con band. I don't know if you've heard of Press X yet.
Not come across.
Yeah, so I met him at a Comic-Con. And his band, they do songs about computer games. Everyone should go and check them out, Press X. And yeah, I think we're kind of session guys at the moment. There's not enough. We're not officially in a whole band yet. It's just because like no one knows what's happening. You can't really formalize anything right now because you don't know what you're going to be doing next week or whatever. So we're doing the album launch. The guys are on the album. They recorded the album with me, and we're going to be songwriting the third album together because there's key elements in each person that is absolutely needed to make the project work properly. And where it goes after that, I can't tell you that because I don't know what the world's going to be doing. I mean, if we go down, I mean, people are talking about other lockdown. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to even go there. I'm not jinx it. But I could be live. I'll probably be doing a lot of live stream shows for the rest of the year on my own anyway, because I don't need the full band, and we're not located geographically close to each other really. So I'll probably be. I think the majority of the gigs between here and the end of the year will be just me on Twitch anyway. So I'm taking a break from live streaming right now just to get the album done and actually go on holiday, go up and see my mum in August. You know, go up to the caravan, spend 2 weeks out in the fields, not dealing with much apart from talking to my mum. Because obviously no one's done anything in almost 2 years, so that's kind of the plan for August. And then September, it'll just be live streaming on Twitch. Anytime we're not booked into a show, I will be live streaming original material once a week, I think, on Twitch, and just building, you know, because you saw the tech I had the last time we played. So basically, I just spent a whole lockdown just testing live streaming. And on my streams, I would just test all these problems and get round and learn. I didn't know how to live stream at March 2020, and then just learned the whole thing. And then, you know, I started getting clients and stuff. So I started just making all the mistakes on my own live streams. And then I started working for other people and doing their live streams for them. And that was basically where all my money was coming from. Not a lot, because people don't pay a lot for live streams, but, you know, it was keeping the wolf from the door, so to speak. And now when we go back into September, I will just start bringing all that tech back in for me, and then just working on like a really nice comic-based aesthetic show now, where I will be inside my own comic book. You know, I might even just, like, you know, what do you call that? Have my own animated character that just does my talking for me. You know, I feel like I'm going to be like
your avatar.
My avatar will be taken over from me, I think, at some point, because I had to learn animation as well.
You're just trying to
yeah, basically. You know, if we could upload ourselves to the internet, I would be first in line to do that. I would absolutely do that for sure. I just like plug myself in and get rid of this body and just go for it. You know, I'd be pretty happy with that. That's what I do.
I could just imagine he's there like, would you like the red pill or the blue pill? You're already trying to plug yourself into the mains.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pills are fraud, so just give me them all or neither. It doesn't matter. It matters. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. So we're going to do more. As I had to learn animation for this project because I couldn't afford an animator. The first album series is animated with another animator, and this one I couldn't afford them. So I had learned to animate myself. So all the music videos for this album I did myself. I didn't draw it because I'm not that talented, and I do everything else. So I can't. Some things I can't do myself, but I do have a really good illustrator. I don't know if you remember, but my first illustrator was Nigel Dobbin, who is 2000 AD, Sonic the Hedgehog's official comic book illustrator. He does the Doctor Who comics, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, he died when he was drawing my second album. So we've now got a girl called Sylvia Freer from Brazil. And it was so weird because I don't know, I'm just going on a tangent now, but it was kind of weird that I wanted someone who could match Nigel's illustrations, and that was the whole brief, because I wanted the two albums, even though they're two very separate stories, I wanted them to aesthetically match each other so I could play them as one full set, you know, a gig set, because both albums are half an hour long. And I went on Fiverr and I basically auditioned anyone who was even in the ballpark of Nigel's stuff. And Sylvia was the only person out of like 25 people I auditioned that actually did the work and got it back. Most people just didn't bother. I think she was, maybe there was like two others who returned something that just wasn't good enough. But her stuff was really good. So we used her. And her illustrations, which I have here, are amazing. They're really good. So, it's all here.
No, I was just going to say, like, there is a wonderful kind of fresh feeling to the artwork, which I've seen so far in the music video, which we're going to share in a minute. But if you hadn't told me, I would never have guessed it was a different animator. So it's a real credit to both your animation skills and her artwork to have kind of continued on what he'd started.
Illustrator. So the illustrator has changed. Animator too, I guess it's changed. Yeah. So she draws the comic as a flat thing. And then I animate it on top, animate that. But she is, I mean, she's so good. If anyone wants to do comics, I can't recommend her enough. She's super fast and the quality is really high and her communication's good. You know, as a freelancer, she is just she's exactly what you want. She's she's good attitude, everything's on time and everything's really good and the price is fantastic. I wouldn't say that it's a lot cheap. Like people would say like why like you go to people in Brazil because they're cheaper than folks here, but people who are good know that they're good and they know what they're worth. So
Yeah.
it's not, you get what you pay for. If you want someone cheap, then you'll get something cheap, and they don't put their heart and they don't put their soul in it. But a good person is fully aware of how much they're worth, regardless of what country they're in.
And the thing that even though you, yeah, as you've kind of put it yourself, you're not kind of like always a people person, but certainly in the art world, I appreciate that thing of collaboration and really getting a vision out there with the help of kind of different artists and musicians, and kind of just getting so kind of cohesive piece. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really good team. I think my whole process for Death Ingloria as a whole was that the first album was the, what do you call it? Proof of concept. Like, will anyone care if there's a girl singing about the end of humanity with rock music, and who creates a comic book about it and then animates that, and that's it. And that's the height of it. Does anyone care? And enough people cared, so we moved on to the next phase, which was building a team. And that's what this album has done. And then the next album is where that team comes together and creates something new together. So I mean, I've already written ideas down for album 8, all the way to album 8. So it's quite a lot of it.
No positive admission of ambition there, certainly.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like nerve making though? I can tell you're kind of like excited to work with some new people on kind of bringing it to the next phase and bringing those different kind of voices and styles. Is there any nervousness about that as someone who's kind of a content overseer, shall we say?
Yeah, because I always have to have plan Bs, unfortunately, in case someone decides they don't want to do it anymore. Somebody, I mean, what can I do? I need to go forward. Let me rephrase that. Basically, I have had my life of messing around, right? I've had all the crap jobs. I've done them all, right? I've toured with other bands as their backline tech. I've cleaned toilets in music venues. Yeah, I've worked for Google at one point in their merch store. I've done all this crap, and I'm done with just doing all this stuff. And now all I want to do is this. So I can't wait on anyone else to join. I can't. No, what's the word? I can't wait on someone else to get onto my timeline. My timeline is now this, because I've run out of time. All those years I should have been doing this, and I wasn't. I was partying, and I was wasting my time doing crap jobs. Thinking, oh, I'll be fine once I just get my band going. So I'm on a very sharp deadline now, because I've run right out of time. So I have to move forward, and those people have to come with me. And if they don't come with me, then I don't know. That's the fear. That's the fear that I'll get. I'll say like we've got a tour, and then somebody won't do it. Or the illustrator won't be able to get stuff in. It's like when you have to start relying on other people, and that's where all the fear is. But I have to say, the entire team is amazing. So this team I've got right now is amazing.
You've kind of got onto what I think I was going to ask next, because it's like, I don't think you're worried about people not showing up, because you've got contingency upon contingency. I know this about you already.
Yeah.
If someone does show up, and then you've got to trust them with something, I feel like that's scarier.
That's the whole thing's scary. Because I waited. I mean, again, the reason the band didn't start until 3 years ago was because I was waiting for other people to come on board with me, and that never happened. And I went through 5 bass players and 12 drummers just to go, oh, I'll just do it myself. I'll just do it all myself. Don't worry about it. I'll just do it myself. But I've got to a point now where if I wanted to, it's kind of like if I wanted to be a con band, I'd be better off on my own. I'd just play on my own, because cons don't need a live drummer. Cons don't need bass players. They don't need, they just want a good show that's interesting and something that sounds good, and that's fine. The problem with me is that's not enough for me. I want to be playing festivals. I want to play Download, and I want to tour with Coheed and Cambria or like any other bands, and I want to go on tour around the world as a musician. And really, that's not going to happen without a live band, because people love that. It's the movement of atoms is really what it is. It's that sound. It's that movement of sound towards people. And the drums are the thing that does it. And you can get away with with not having a lot of amps and stuff if you've got just a kick-ass. Nothing beats a good drummer. you know. And Luke is really good. He's like shockingly good. I shouldn't say that. I know he's good. No, he's young and he's really fired up, and he's a really great producer and everything. Luke Pomfret. Everyone just go and like him. It's great. I can't speak for him highly enough. Again, he's super professional. He's very young, just at a university. But you know, he's starting his own business as a producer. He does session work for a lot of people as a guitarist, and he teaches guitar and all sorts of other stuff. And he's just great. I don't know why I'm going. I don't know why I'm blowing smoke on this fella, but it's happening a lot. But both of them are fantastic. But yeah.
I think you're pleasantly surprised by how much it's working with other people. That's where I'm getting.
Yeah, yeah. But I think you have to get to a confidence point where I don't rely on them. You know what I mean? I think that's it. I know I can do all of it on my own, but I want to take it to the next level, and you need to bring people in for that to happen. I mean, you need to just partner up with stuff. I mean, because you need that live drummer, and you know, I want to be playing as many cons as well as many normal vanilla gigs as possible. What do you call it? Muggle shows? Maybe that's what we should call them.
Muggle shows.
Yeah, Muggle shows. Yeah. So I want to play big Muggle shows and big cons. But the Comic Cons aren't really that fussed, I feel, in the UK. They're not that fussed about having live bands, a lot of them. And actually a live drum kit sometimes is a problem for them. But we can also play with an electric kit. So, you know, there's something that some other bands can't do. They can't just flip a switch and go to electric, but we can. Yeah, so I don't know where I'm going. I'm just having a bit of a rant about stuff.
Rant away. You call it ranting, I call it content. It's fine.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
The thing for me as well is, I guess that no matter what you do, like whether you're an independent or a band, like at some point you can be the leader, you can be kind of someone who's in control of it all, especially as independent, I guess. But it also gets to the stage, as well as on stage needing those kind of extra elements you're talking about to play those certain events. At some certain point of growth, you need other people. Like, you can do it all yourself, but you can't do it all yourself beyond a certain level. You just need to trust and bring people in. And I know that can be really nerve-wracking when you're kind of in control of an event, a band, whatever it is, that's your baby, and then you've got to hand it to other people.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
It actually relieves more stress than it's creating at the moment, thankfully, because the guys are just so awesome. They're just no problems. They just get on with it. They have a good time doing it, and it's working out really well. So yeah, I'm probably just jinxed myself. They're probably going to watch this, then just go, "What an idiot! Like, who is this chick? Like, what?" I think it's also because I'm very specific about what I want. I know where we're going. Like, I think most things just need a good leader. I hope I'm a good leader. I'm probably less. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I think most projects that work well always have someone who's running it. You know.
Yeah.
Most of them have. You will have outliers. I mean, you'll obviously have bands that have been together forever, like Avenged Sevenfold, but there's probably a leader in that band. They've been together since high school and they're massive, right? But there's probably someone who runs that band. And I think that's just when you've got one person who's like, I'm going forward, you have to come with me. Just hold on to the back, we're going.
Galina, we're going to play the video for Final Battle Stage. Oh, sorry, damn it, I had this in my head. Battle Station. I wouldn't add final because the file you sent me was Battle Station Final, which means the final version, I think.
Oh, yeah,
so
I should have sent you that.
I wanted to get along. That's what I was doing.
Yeah,
Battle Station. So, no, it's not on there. Tell us a bit about this and putting together this video.
This video, I'm trying to remember which video it is because I've been doing so many. So
we can play it with. Then we can talk about it if you.
Why would do that? That's probably the best thing to do. Play it first.
From Death Ingloria, the first video to be unlaunched to be launched. Here is Battle Station.
dark. This all-consuming need that don't breathe. Look what we've got. Do I surrender my time? Surrender my life for something you don't see? Do I surrender my heart? Surrender my hope for a cause you don't even believe. And as we man this battle station, I hope you know, if it was up to me, you'd never leave home. And as we man this battle station, I hope you know, if it was up to me, I'd drop you like a stone. If it was up to me, you'd never make it home. But it's not up to me. No, it's not up to me. No, it's not up to me. I'm just scared.
That one goes out, I believe, to Ben North there. Oh,
Sorry.
you still there, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm still here. Are you broken up? Woo. What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
hear
was
you
just
now.
saying a big shout out to Ben North, which you dedicated there at the end.
Yeah, Ben was the first fella who heard me play the song as an acoustic song years ago, and he died of a brain tumor in October. So he was the one who told me this song had any legs in it, basically, and we played it together. And he played harmonica on it, actually, but he died. He didn't get recording. We didn't record it, unfortunately, so we don't have. But I might do an acoustic version of this, in which case I'll get someone to re-record his harmonica part. So there you go. Oh, Mario. So that's why he's on the end of that.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that from what you were saying before, this is set in a different world to the first album, but kind of very complementary in style.
Yeah, so the idea is that as a live show, we can use the songs, we can intersplice the songs from each album together, so we can make a whole live set. So it's a kind of, yeah. So this particular song I wrote actually about Northern Ireland, it kind of was inspired by the London riots. I wrote it after the London riots, but really it was about how I thought the situation in Northern Ireland could easily come back. It felt the same, like what was going on in London at the time felt pretty much the same as what had been going on in Northern Ireland when I was a kid. So that's where the whole thing came out. And it's really about just being scared of the whole situation, of not being able to have any say or action about whatever violence is surrounding you in society at the time. So there you go. And the animations and the illustrations of the book, actually, there's all of the scenes have been lived through either by my parents or by myself, which is just really odd. So it comes from like family stories, a lot of the things that happened in that. And we're not, I guess the looting one is probably the one that we wouldn't have seen. I haven't seen, but the rest of it, it's all based on true events that have been lived through by either myself or people who know me or people in my family. So yeah, the happy times, happy times. Yeah, so there you go. And so I guess how it relates to the comic is the next place we go to, right? So the comic is called Death by Admin, and it basically has two stories going along. And the first story is about a guy called KK who works in an office. And we see his day-to-day stuff on one page. This is his day-to-day living on here. And then at the end of every day, he hates his job so much, he just spends a lot of time daydreaming. So he daydreams. Where am I? Here. This is him daydreaming on this side, as you can see. And then he daydreams about elements of his past in his life that happened in the past that made him disconnect from something. So he disconnects from family, he disconnects from his society, and just decides he's not part of anything anymore. So he just goes through life not being connected to anything that happens around him. and he's just such in a daydream and doesn't really care about anything anymore. And he kind of half daydreams the world and about the world coming to an end. But while all this is going on, he makes a series of minor admin errors that actually destroy the world. So while he's just in daydreams thinking about what's going on, all the things he's anxious about and regrets in his past, he accidentally sets off all the nuclear warheads on the planet because his job seemed very very small and mundane to him, but actually was far more important than he was ever led to believe. And through admin errors, he destroys everybody by accident.
I like it. A nice happy tale for this age. Oh, Galina, we've lost you for a second there.
I'm still here. Ooh.
Disappear for a sec. The stream. I don't know.
Okay,
Anyway,
so that's the whole comic. This is where we end on this page, where he's surrounded by biscuits. It becomes obvious why he's surrounded by biscuits, but while all the world gets destroyed behind him.
Look, let's face it. He is working in admin. You need your biscuits.
Yeah. So basically, I asked my fan base for admin errors that were stupid. Like, what are the real things that you guys have dealt with admin wise that were daft, right? And we wrote those into this book. And one of them was a story about a librarian who it wasn't an April Fool's joke, but so basically she worked as a librarian years and years ago in London, and the civil service decided that they weren't going to allow people to take gifts, right? So in the civil service, anything over a tenner now you have to put on a register. So I used to work, with magistrates and judges, and if they gave us a box of chocolates, you had to write it in their register, right? That was it. But before, it didn't used to be a £10 limit. It used to be anything when it first came out, right? So the librarians were told any gift you have to write into the thing. And people considered like the little gifts that they get on the front of magazines at a library to be one of those things. So people were spending all of their time listing every single free thing that came with the magazine, like a CD on the front or whatever it was. Yeah. And libraries have a lot of magazines, so they'd go through, they were just listing all this stuff. So we used that in the comic, and our person is sent off on an April Fool's joke by his boss, but because he's not paying any attention to what's going on, he doesn't know what date it is, he doesn't get the joke. So his boss says, yeah, you need to count every biscuit that's in the building from the start of the financial year. Oh, last financial year. So he's like, I have to count every single biscuit in the building for obviously no reason. And that's why he's surrounded by biscuits, and he doesn't understand what's going on. But I tell this
album.
It's just
any album which involves a guy counting every biscuit in a building, I'm sold. That's
that's it, right? So that's the kind of shenanigans he gets up to. But while he's doing that, the music videos were all about these events that happened in his past, and like his own mental state. I mean, yeah.
It's very Douglas Adams. It feels like, from counting the biscuits to the apocalypse.
Red Dwarf is pretty much responsible for everything. I mean, my first album has a miseries virus in it, and that's specifically a Red Dwarf. It makes everyone want to commit suicide. My miseries virus. So that's the what do you call it? Suicide Squid episode. Literally. Yeah. I'll have that. Thank you very much. I'd like to say
Suicide Squid mixed in with the good luck virus and the bad luck virus.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I'm on it. I know my Red Dwarf.
Yeah. So the first album, we killed off humanity with a miseries virus that was purposely created and let loose on the population. So we want to hope that I'm not actually psychic, because all the nuclear warheads are going to go off in the second one. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
plus, also, you've got the biscuit counting in there. I believe they have to count each individual biscuit before it goes into Northern Ireland now. So you brought that in too.
Oh my God! I literally did that. It was me. I'm a soothsaying crazy loon. That's what I am. I'm like I am the modern Nostradamus. There you go. Quote me on that, peeps. Yeah. These sometime in the future, all these comics are going to be found in like the Dead Sea Scrolls kind of way, and they're going to go, oh, she knew! How did she know? Magic.
I like it.
That's it. Also, because it's a death by admin, so we made these. This is what the album comes on. It doesn't come on CD. You're not getting a CD. I don't do CDs. I don't like them. I don't have a CD player. I don't like them. So they come on ID cards. I'll just put my hand over that. These be ID cards, and you get a nice lanyard. And then there's a QR code on here, and you scan that, and that'll take you to the members only part of the website, and that's where you can download the songs and such. You'll get sent the songs anyway, but you can download the videos and stuff there. And then we're going to build up that members only section to be an app, and then it's like a little mini Facebook thing that's in development. But we'll start it off slow and then move ourselves up. But yeah, it comes on an ID card, and yeah,
an ID card which you swipe to get your album. That's genius.
Yeah, you scan it to get your album. Yeah. And then the whole comic book, every single page of this comic book is going to be animated. And on that website will be the only place you'll be able to watch the whole thing from start to finish. Otherwise, the music videos will be out for muggles. The muggles will get the music videos. And then only people who really want to see the full animation will get it on that website. And if that wasn't good enough...
Oh, sorry. Please, keep selling.
If that isn't enough, so the pre-sale is actually going to get posted out tomorrow, because the comic comes with the ID card and the coloring book. The coloring book, because you all want coloring books nowadays, don't we? Like, yeah. I don't even color, but I'm buying pencils now that I own my own coloring book. I'm going to color that in. And the VIP pre-order, but it'll probably just carry on even after the album's out. We're doing a hot sauce called Use It As a Weapon, which is our own brand of hot sauce. Amazing. And then for the top VIP package, you get your own face illustrated onto this card by our illustrator in the same style as this one. And because we then have your image, you then will get drawn into comic number 3. Wow. And out of the people
you then own your soul, yeah? You own
and
that
then we own your firstborn, your soul, the whole thing. Yeah. And then someone whoever, I mean, we'll have a bunch of images of people, because people have already started buying them, and we need a couple of main characters. So I'm not saying you'll definitely be a main character, but we'll pick a main character from those people who have done that. That's what we'll do. Album number 3, and it'll be called Death by Art. Death Ingloria 3, Death by Art. And that is, I'm actually...
And what's good?
For that one, I'm pairing up with a writer friend, so we're going to actually try and write as close to a novel or screenplay for that one as possible. So, like, really go in for the story. And then there'll still be a comic book, but it might be a graphic novel by that point. And then we'll just try and animate the whole thing. Yeah! Let's make an anime. Woo.
So you're certainly not shy of ambition.
So you know what I'm saying? This is where I am moving forward, and either you're coming with me or you're left in the dust. That's it.
I do love, like, not only the whole vision of it, but for me, the idea that you've used existing technology to come up with something which feels like the future. So having a lanyard which you just swipe and then you've got the album just feels like everything you wanted when you were a child. It's genius. It's great.
Well, people want to implant it into their hands. We can just tattoo the QR code on your hand, and that's it. That's it. You don't even need the card. That's the next.
Yeah, and then it'll be your brain somehow next.
Yeah, I'll just get one of the apparently, like, what's his name? Elon Musk is designing a computer that you upload your personality to. I'm like, I'm in there. I'm in. Just give me I don't even need a body. I just like some kind of box that sits on a shelf or something. That'd be me. I'd be pretty happy. All this moving around, I just outside. It's not good, I just don't want to be inside. Just let me inside. I hate the sun as well. Like, I just have a massive vitamin D deficiency, even after the summer, especially after the summer. It's worse in the summer because I don't go out as much as I do in the winter because it's very hot.
I feel this is becoming a therapy session as much as an interview at this stage.
I know, right? Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's all good though.
So
We should
yeah.
talk about, like we've got at the bottom of the screen right now. If you're listening on audio, it was in the bottom of the screen. Deathingloria.com. Please do
Yes.
go there to look up all things Death and Gloria. Tell us about the fantastic website though. So you got the first album up there for free for people to enjoy. You can get your pre-sales in and post-sales depending on when you're
Yeah.
listening to this album.
Yeah.
Tell
So
us
if you
all about that.
sign up to the mailing list, you get the first album for free. What else is on there? Oh yeah. So we've got all the pre-sale stuff, but the album comes out on the 10th of August. But our biggest thing that we're pushing right now is the show. So this Friday we're going to be playing the Electro Works in London. There'll be like the first full show with the whole band. We've obviously played other shows with the band, but this will be the first with full everything that we've got. And it's a really early show. We were going to live stream it, but we had a production rehearsal in the venue yesterday, and we live streamed we played a Comic-Con in Pittsburgh over Zoom last night, and it went so badly that we've taken the live stream stuff off for the album launch. It didn't work. It did not work, because our drummer Luke is such a great drummer. He's a real good rock drummer that you cannot keep him quiet, and it just won't work with microphones on stage. We don't have the budget. The stage is not a large, we're not far enough away from each other to really make that work effectively. So we've decided to drop the live stream and just really focus on getting the band together. I mean, the live show together. So I'm just going to put that down to our drummer's too good. Basically, our drummer is too good to live stream. So we're gonna have it in the room only. I mean, it's only a £5, and if you're in London or anywhere surrounding London, the show's on super early because there's a nightclub there's a nightclub that happens in the venue afterwards. So we are starting the show. The doors are at 7. The show starts at 7:30, and we'll be done at 9. By 9, we'll be out of that room by 9 because the club night's coming in. So it's a real early doors, so people could travel in and travel home without having to even be on the last boozy train home out of London. So,
or if you want to be in for a night out, you have a wonderful time at Death and Gloria, then you see a nice go to a nice nightclub or go somewhere else afterwards. Yeah, make a bit of a night of it.
Yeah, so the venue itself is called the Electro Works, and it's an old metal factory. It's amazing. Like, it's really, really amazing venue. It's been there. It's got the oldest goth club in it. The goth club has been there. Slimelight has been there for 35 years. It's like it's amazing, and it's a world-renowned goth club. Like, it's just the place to be. Anyway, so they've refurbed. They put a restaurant in. The whole thing's really. It's industrial, it's an old warehouse, it's an old factory, so it's concrete walls and concrete floor and all the rest. But we were in it yesterday, and they have repainted and just put the nice toilets now. Everything's lovely, and it's a really nice venue, and it's got like 5 rooms. And so there's a nightclub called Voodoo on after us, and they are a metal club, and Larry, who runs that, is like single-handedly runs all the metal clubs in London and has done for like 15, longer than that, long time. And so you can come and see us, and then you can you can get a ticket for the nightclub and just stay there till 6 o'clock in the morning if you want, or you can have dinner in the restaurant, and it's all in one room. It's all in one building. It's all under the one roof. So it's fantastic if you just want to come out.
I love this.
Yeah, it's really. I cannot tell you how good it is. Yeah.
2 ways in which you can avoid the filthy night train home from London. You either leave straight after the wonderful Death and Gloria gig, or you stay there for the nightclub, leave at 6 in the morning. Again, you've avoided that mess.
Yeah, anyway, there's no mess, basically. Any which way, there's no mess.
Yeah.
And the
Except
nightclub,
you might be a mess by 6 in the morning.
Well, I think they serve food, so I think you'd be all right. Just have dinner. Just eat 4 or 5 dinners. That's what I would do. I mean, I'd be there till 6 o'clock in the morning myself if we weren't playing a Comic-Con the next day. There's another reason to come to London, right? Get yourself a wee hotel, have a wee holiday, come down and watch us, do some metal dancing, eat some food in the metal restaurants, and then go to London Anime and Gaming Con in Hammersmith on the Saturday. And you'll see us again, but it'll be in a con situation. So it's a very different show. The con is a lot smaller. It's more less of a production show. It's more of a just get up and rock kind of show. And the album launch is a rock show. You know what I mean? Cons are, I don't need to tell you guys. You know what the difference between cons and real gigs, muggle gigs, real gigs. I did not just say that.
It's
Muggle
different
gigs.
types of gigs. We like both. We like the kind of like, well, I mean, I always think rock gigs aren't quite muggle gigs anyway, because they are out there. Like you get a lot of kind of cross promotion between sci-fi gigs and metal. Like it's all in the same kind of world. It's just the real muggle ones are the more the poppy stuff. Yeah, you can go. They're the real muggle gigs. No offense, if you like it, people. I'm not like what you like. Just for me, the geeky. I'm good.
Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of geekery in the rock, guys, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so there you go. So that's a whole weekend. You can just come to London, get an Airbnb. You probably can't get Airbnbs yet, can you? I don't know. Can you? You must be able to. Yeah, get
I don't know if I'd want to at the moment.
Yeah, you're in someone's house, but a lot of Airbnbs, people don't live there. You know, they've got a room, but they don't live there.
That more makes me worry, because it's whichever rando was in there first. You're relying on them or some cleaning service to make the place look nice.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what you're relying on. Hygienic. You think the hotel cleaning is that much better?
I think, though, in COVID times, a business is much more reliant on it being carefully cleaned as opposed to an Airbnb.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I imagine hotels will be kind of cheap this weekend because, not a lot of people are moving around. They're coming to London. Yeah. Anyway, my show's a $5, and, you'll be done by 9 o'clock, and you can do what you like after that. I don't care.
Yeah, I feel like we've become the London review guide now. We're not. We're just about the Death Ingloria gigs.
There's so much to do in London, but just come to my gig. Forget all the things that there are to do in London. I don't know that there is a lot going on anyway. I feel like the ticket sales are, they're not great. But then I also specifically picked us to do the show this way, have it as a couple of hours before a bigger event, because I didn't want the venue to lose money on me hiring it out and then, there not being a big audience and stuff like that. So there's another bonus, there's going to be 5 of you in the room. So you may as well, you'll have loads of space. It's a big room. It's a 200 capacity room, and there'll be 5 of you. And my mum's not even coming because she's Northern Irish and she's not there. So, so yeah, plenty of space. You'll be COVID safe in this massive air-conditioned rock venue with nobody in it. So there you go. 5 people. Also, I'm lying. I've sold more tickets than 5 people, but it's still, there's still a lot of room in the room. A lot of space in that room. It'll be fine.
I still feel like you've got a better excuse there, because your mum's Northern Irish, so you can't see her. My mum's Northern Irish, but she lives in Romsey, which is like 10 miles down the road. So I just have to feel bad if I don't see her regularly.
Yeah, you should sort that out. Go and see your ma.
Yeah. I did. I tried, but then COVID hit, and I didn't want to kill her.
Yeah, that's true.
Seemed reasonable.
We're all going to go and see my ma actually in August. I've decided that mentally I cannot focus anymore past this album launch. I'm going to have this album launch, and then I'm going to go on holiday for 3 weeks because I haven't had a day off since lockdown started. Like, it's just one day after another. I want a live stream. That's me. That's happened to me. Anyway, I can't complain. I'm not complaining. I'm not moaning. I'm not complaining about anything. Everything is super. I'm just never going to be happy with anything. That's it.
Galina, I'm afraid we're running close to the end of our therapy hour now. This, of course, will be going out on radio on the Bear.live on Thursday between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. I've got a little Chiron somewhere, but there we go. Bear.live, Thursday, 8 till 10. Or if you're listening to it right now on the Bear.live, now. But for when it does, of course, we've got that wonderful track of yours in the middle of this interview. That's the bank, Galina. Is there a track you want to play, or you want me to play after this interview on the radio by anyone?
You could just play Weapon, which is our other single, which is we sent out. Do you specifically want me to pick something by somebody else? Because I'm always going to just pick my own songs to be out there. Why give anyone else airtime?
Did you say you sent me the other one?
I haven't sent it to you, but I could send it to you. But
send that one over. That will do nicely. Weapon by Death Ingloria. If you're listening on the radio, please enjoy that now. And there's the awkward moment where I'm just doing some sort of weird pose on video.
I should just do that too.
But that's where the audio will kind of go.
That's fine. That's good. That's good. I like it. I think people must like this randomness, or you wouldn't still be doing it, surely.
I mean, I enjoy it. Like, people find it eventually. It's all good.
It's fine. So how has it been for you? How has it been for you?
It's been pretty random. It's been a very weird year. I mean, the job I'm doing now on my desk job, I work for the NHS. The job started. It's just going to go a bit like tangenty, but I was working for the council, and then they kind of cut my hours back as a result of the pandemic because I was on agency, and then I got a job working with the NHS making calls for the flu vaccine program. But by the time that started, the COVID situation was already going on. So they were very quickly trying to switch us over to doing COVID calls as well. And somewhere along the year, I've become a team manager, and they're expanding it again and making it sort of semi-permanent to permanent thing. So the job I'm doing now literally would not exist if it wasn't for the pandemic. Like, it would have been a couple of months making some flu calls, and that would have been it. And now it's my career, which seems weird. Like, obviously, this is my fun time career. This I love. Like, I will always do the interviews. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to make a crash of doing it. But my day job relies on this all to have happened, which is a very weird thing to say.
Well, that's exactly it. There's a lot of stuff that has, there is a lot of bad, but there's also a couple of little gems that just would not happen without stuff going on in the background. There are new jobs will come out of this, and new careers been forged. I'm going to go into animation for sure, and I want to make animated. I'd like to make animated videos for people, music videos. I think I'd like to do that for a living. Basically, being a musician is never going to pay everything, is it? And Tool is one of my favorite bands in the world, and every one of them has a day job. So if they all have their day jobs, yeah, one of them is a monster maker. Actually, I think it's the bass player. I want to say, can't remember his name. It's gone out of my head. And he did some stuff for Jurassic Park on the dinosaurs, I believe. And Maynard, the singer, owns a winery. Runs a winery as well as all those other bands. So if those big fellas can have second jobs, then my second job will be animation and making music videos. I hope that's what I want to do. I think behind a screen and away from people. You'll notice that.
Isn't that how most of us have been living our life for at least the last year and a half, whatever it's been? Yeah. Time has been this in the void.
The thing is, I like the cons and I like gigs. Sorry. I'm just keep talking. It's rarely someone asks me anything about myself nowadays.
By the way, if you're listening to this on the radio, you heard that song. We're back now. We kept going. It's fine. Just go. It's cool.
So I like the gigs. I love the gigs and the cons because yourself. There are people. You don't feel like you have to hide yourself when you're at a con, and you don't have to, don't get approached by morons and everything else. Rock gigs are really like very friendly environments, and the cons are just amazing. And some of the nightclubs I work at are so inclusive that it's just silly. It's crazy good, and then you just feel like you're in a big room full of little clones of yourself or whatever, and it's just nice. It's really nice. The rest of humanity, I cannot handle the rest of existence at all.
I sort of feel like almost like we've won as well, like in a weird way. Not won as in if it was a competition for us, but it's like the normies seem to have lost the ground over the world. Like the weird and the sci-fi and the imagination seems to, like, the proliferation of the superhero movies alone just is one kind of symptom of how I feel like we've won the long battle. Like when I was at school, if you admitted you liked Doctor Who, heaven forbid, you would get the shit kicked out of you, let alone be kind of lauded, because everyone loves it now. It's great. No one make any comments. I didn't like Jodie. I don't give a shit. I meant generally as a theory.
Yeah, I mean, I told you this last time. My mom wrote for 2080 in the 80s, so I'm a con kid. I was not dragged. Yes, well, I was dragged. I was too young to be left at home, so I had to go to the cons with them. So my mom would be on panels talking about comics, and I'd be hiding under the panel table, like poking my nose out of people or whatever. And it was that was just so unheard of that, like, I didn't tell kids that I went to those cons as a kid because nobody would have understood what they are. But now you mention Comic Con, and they're like, oh my God, I want to go. My kids want to go. Everyone wants to go. I'm like, yeah, we go. You're right. We won. We did. And it is a competition. I don't care what he says. It is. And we did it. So.
Fair enough. Galina Rin, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Congratulations on the new album. The first song that you shared with us there is amazing. Please do remember to send the other one over, and it will be in the radio show for everyone there. But thank you very much. I hope you continue to go to bigger and better things as you have been doing. But for now, I've been Dr. Squee. With me has been Galina Rin from Death Ingloria, and you've been watching the Dr. Squee Show. And please, guys, remember, in a world where you can be literally everything, everything? I'm just going to take another swing at that. Guys, remember my own sign-off. It's been a long year, that's all. Anyway, guys, in a world where you can be literally anything, please be kind. I'm in Dr. Squee. That was my show.